Virtual Racing School was developed to provide support to the next generation of sim racers. No matter if you're a rookie or veteran or what car or track you'll be racing, our goal is to provide training every step of the way. We found that iRacing can be quite difficult without proper training. There needed to be a way to prepare for on-track racing. With VRS, you can literally learn from the best sim racers in the world, including 4-time NASCAR iRacing World Champion Ray Alfala.
And Ray Alfala is a 4-time champion of the NASCAR Peak Antifreeze iRacing Series.
3-time iRacing Grand Prix World Champion Martin Kroenke.
Martin Kroenke becomes a 3-time world champion.
Rallycross World Champion Mitchell de Jong.
Mitchell de Jong is now champion for the iRacing Rallycross World Championship Series.
And many other top sim racers. Data packs include everything you need to start learning. Our World Championship coaches create the data packs by setting a hot lap or a series of fast laps for you to compare, analyze, and replicate. Data packs also include a tutorial where the coach points out techniques they use to hit the fast lap. This gives you access to the latest driving techniques and setups before you even hit the track. Sign up for a free account and download the VRS telemetry logger. With this application running seamlessly in the background, your laps automatically start syncing to the VRS website. From there, you can analyze and compare 2 laps of your choice, whether it's your data, the coaches, or your teammates. VRS will automatically target improvement opportunities so you can get up to speed even faster. VRS also makes it easy for you to request and schedule one-on-one or group coaching sessions. These sessions can range from 30 to 90 minutes, and you can select the car, track, and setup combination of your choice. Visit virtualracingschool.com today to sign up and get started.
Hello everybody and welcome to the iRacing Formula Renault 3.5 Championship broadcasted to you on Apex Racing TV. This is round number 6 and we head to Japan at the Suzuka International Circuit. It's been the home for Japan Motor Racing really since 1962 and served primarily as a test track for Honda, and it's been the home of single-seaters since 1980. We got myself, Jessica Ball and Chan in the commentary box and Marco on the cameras, and we saw a fantastic race last time out in Monza, and I think we're going to see something similar today, but this track is more of a technical circuit compared to last week's track.
Oh, we sure are, and yeah, I think coming from the past few weeks of racing, this track is going to be quite a unique challenge to these guys. Of course, we are coming to the mid-season, and what better track to push the drivers further than a track like Suzuka itself. You've got extreme corners like 130R and even the spoon corner where you have to be very careful as you thread the line. But of course, with these Formula Renault 3.5 cars, you'll see all kinds of racing action here.
Yeah, exactly. We're seeing some great battles that we saw last week with a photo finish between Barato, which definitely got me on the edge of my seat, I have to say. And if you do want to check that out, it's on the Apex Racing TV Twitter. But we're just in qualifying session today, and we saw Robert Talton actually take the race win last time out. A 3.9 gap over Ramon Pinheiro in second position. And I have to say, Robert Talton was looking very quick, but I know there's some drivers that could go even quicker. Tim Delisle, who won in Montreal, is back this week, and I'm sure he's going to be back bigger and better than ever. I think a few corners to watch out for, I would say. The Dunlop curve, the S's section, Boone curve as well, and the infamous 130R where he could be brave to go for an overtake there, but sometimes it does not work. But we shall see, of course, as a few drivers are coming across the line to start their initial laps. Tim Delisle is the benchmark at the moment with a 141.070, and Herbie now is in second place. Great to see him back this week on the grid, back where he used to be. And obviously we've got James Pinsker in third position, and we saw Eddie, who got a good result last time about, is currently sitting in second right now in the qualifying, 1 tenth shy of Tim Delisle there as well. And it looks like a lot of people, I think, we need to step it up again after last week. And a few people, including Pinsker, got very unlucky last week at Monza and looking to bounce back.
Most certainly. So, of course, right now, Robert Talton has the provisional fastest lap, but everyone within the top 10, in fact, are within 1 second of one another, which is a very good thing to see with regards to pace. So this is, he's 1.7, or rather 1/10 of a second behind the third place driver. So we have a look at how he takes this spoon corner, because this is one of those corners where you have a lot of understeer going into the corner. And a high-speed run down now on the lead up to 130. You can see that the driver takes the inside line, then back to the outside in preparation for the entry into 130. Almost full throttle down there. And it's going to be hard braking down into the Castro Triangle. You have to get your braking right here to maximize your pace. And along the exit of the final corner, let's see what lap time he sets as he comes across the start-finish line. So I think it puts down, a fastest 1:49.39, which sets him all the way up in pole position.
Very, very close to Robert Tarleton in second place. 8/100ths of a second separates between the top two drivers, and maybe Tim Delisle could get up there as well. So we're seeing some quicker lap times already, and we could see quite a close grid because Japan is such a fan favourite track. You either, most people love it, some people hate it, but I'm sure a lot of people love it really. And iRacing, obviously, a lot of people use the wheel. Pretty much everyone uses the wheel, and it's such a blowing track through the S's section. And Robert Tarleton goes even quicker with a 140.887. So the track is evolving a little bit more as the track gets rubbered in, and the drivers are going onto the track as well. A few people leaving it a little bit late until most of the drivers are actually setting their lap times. So we're seeing more drivers going even quicker and quicker and setting personal best right now as Takamo 141.555 goes into 11th fastest. Top 12 separated by 9/10 of a second as we're seeing one of the cars going through Spoon Curve once again. Don't forget, they've got to set their lap times by the 8-minute mark in order for them to make sure they get pole position. If they don't set it by that time, they'll be going to near the back of the grid. A few drivers that probably I was not expecting to be up there near the top or at the top, and there's some quite near the bottom. Tom Wedgwood down in P20, not where I expected it to be, but I'm sure he could be the one that gains positions during the race, so I'm not too worried about him right now. And we've got Oliver Crocker coming across the line as well, 142.8. Days, at 142.7 actually, goes up into 12th position. A very respectable lap time from him.
We've just got Philip Schiff running as well. He has yet to set a lap time, and I think he's got just under a minute to do so. Makes his way around the hairpin, and so right now he's provisionally in 24th position on the live timing. So I think he will, of course, have to try his best to get a lap time down. Try to kind of reach the start-finish line with the remaining time that he has. Let's see if that's going to be possible. He does run a little bit wide along the exit of Spoon Corner, which does happen from time to time.
Yes, I've done it on F1 quite a few times when I won wide in Spoon Corner. It's not good, and there's a few people that do a bit of unsafe rejoins, which hopefully we won't see happen in this race. But, you know, there's plenty of opportunities for things to go right and wrong as well. And Yes, we are about to get started with the grid already, and it's Robert Talton that is on pole position by 5/100 of a second to Christoph Herbinau in second position. Tim Delisle was very close as well in third. Edward Sambrowski in fourth. James Pinsker, not where we expect him to be, but he's in fifth. Yuki Shiraka in sixth. Paul Ilbrink in seventh. Greg Olsen in eighth position. Phil Reed in ninth position. Philip Preschnader in 10th. A great qualifying session from him, much better performance. Let's see how we can climb up the grid. Fabio De Carmo in 11th position. We've got Oliver in 12th position. Pavel in 13th. Shane Russell in 14th. Benjamin Barreto in 15th position. Carlos in 16th. George, I can't even say his name. I think it's Jorge in 17th position. Mark in 18th. Jason Enrique in 19th. James Clay in 20th. Then we got Tom Redwood 21st. Dennis Cornu in 22nd. Dennis Verdheim in 23rd. And Philip Schief in last place. He wasn't able to improve. Then we got Carl Young in 25th as well. So 25 drivers on the grid. So despite the fact that we also got a official event of the 24 hours as well, there's still a pretty good turnout, I have to say, from the drivers.
Yeah, it's always great to see that, we've got good turnout, off the back of big events on iRacing. Just looking at some comments, I think Shiv did the 130R with DRS on, so we'll see if he's able to pull that off again during the race.
Yes, wow, that is very, very brave to say the least as well. So we're about to get underway very, very soon. The drivers having this lovely helicopter shot here, and to be honest, we see quite a variety of different winners in this Formula Renault 3.5. Will we see Robert Talton get another race win on the bounce after his great win last week? We'll have to wait and see. The 5 red lights are coming on. The engines are revving here at Suzuka. We are underway. Robert Talton gets a good getaway, but what about Christoph as we head towards turn 1? You've got to be careful that you do not run right here, and it is so easy to do. Now you're going to be heading past turn 2 into the S section, and there's 2 cars that have gone wide already past the gravel trap. Very easy to do. I think a lot of cars have got collected as well, and unfortunately I think James Pinsker was one of them, so another unfortunate incident from him. And I think Eddie Sambrowski, who was on the podium last week, was also caught up in that, and that's Herbinau that took the lead from Robert Talton there into turn 2 just before the S's section. Brilliant start from him as well. Tim Delisle staying in third, and Yuki getting a good start as well, but unfortunate collection of cars right at the back as well, which didn't help any cars, to be honest with you. But that's what happens when you run wide in turn 1. But hopefully they can come back from that.
Yeah, the challenge with turn 1 is you're always trying to carry as much speed into the S's as possible whilst not overcooking the car, and I think unfortunately they managed to throw the balance off during lap 1. So let's have a look at the replay from the perspective of Edward Sambrowski. As the whole field goes into turn 1, you can just see the 2 drivers, they might have come into contact with each other, and various cars as a result going off due to that. But of course, the saving grace is that there is a tarmac runoff to kind of save you in case you do run wide. We're back with live pictures with Oliver Croca and Fabio De Carmo, who are racing for 8th position. Carmo runs a little wide, and a huge pile up here. This is Pavel Vasiliev, and he is getting tangled with a couple of other cars, and unfortunately with lap 1 traffic coming onto a chicane like that, you are kind of bound to have some car contacts, and that was the case for some of the drivers. Herbinau continues to lead the race up front, and this is another battle between Preschnader and what would appear to be Greg Olsen. They nearly come into contact with each other, and Greg Olsen sits in 7th place.
There we go, then. So don't forget, Preschnader, I think, started in 10th position, and he's all the way up into 6th, and he likes his starts, doesn't he? He usually used to starting quite low and trying to gain position, and there's someone that's gone off. That is Shane Russell from Downforce Racing, falling down the order as well, and that's a bit unfortunate. But yeah, Preschnader is probably usually goes the most position in these Formula Renault races as well, and the likes of Greg Olsen as well likes to gain. Tom Wedgwood up into 12th as well. Philip Cheap, don't forget, he started in last position all the way up into P13. That is what we like to see from the American as well. Quite a lot of people have gained due to everyone else's misfortune, and it looks like the 4 that are in the pits may not take part in the rest of the race, which is a bit unfortunate, in particular for James with his championship host, James Pinsker. He's out, I believe, for 2 races in a row, which is a bit sad, not what he wanted to happen, of course, but let's see if he can not be involved in that next week. But there was no way people could have avoided that, unfortunately, but a bit of a shame there. But riding on board with Herbie now as he tried and defend off of Robert Tarleton, who is megally fast right now, but Herbie now actually setting the fastest lap out of anyone right now, 142.9, the only one in the 142s at this stage. Robert Tarleton is so close to Herbie now's fastest lap time as well, and I can see one of the cars in front has got the McLaren Golf livery that they run at the Monaco Grand Prix, and I have to say that looks very nice on the iRacing game. I think that's a Ponix livery there as well, as he tries to fight off Tom Wedgwood and Philip Sheet for the top 10 position. And points do mean anything in terms of Formula Renault 3.5, of course. So a lot to talk about here, of course, and we will look at the replay once again, but this time from an outboard shot, and I think a little bit closer. We'll look at James Pinsker's view as well, and he was sent into a spin. Well, he wasn't, and a lot of other cars got collected too, and that was probably unfortunate at the end of his race, but he could come back into it. No, yes, he is actually back in this race, 2 laps down, which is very, very good. You do not give up without a fight there, so at least he has something still to fight for in this race, even if you only get a few amount of points. But the battle for the lead is still going strong. Tim Delisle might be in this train soon, but at the moment it's all about Christoph and Robert.
Doing 130 up very nicely there as Tarleton tries to close the gap as much as possible. The timing difference between them stands at around 0.5 of a second. This is Wedgwood attempting a move on the exit of 130R, and he goes alongside Ponix and makes the move work out. That is Ponix and I would imagine Shift going side by side into the Castle Triangle as well. So that was 2 positions that unfortunately Ponix lost. And that does seem to be Robert Tarleton who attempted a move along the outside of turn 1, which you can do, but you have to be able to close off that move if you want to make the overtaking move complete. So Tarleton continues to trail behind Herbino by again 0.5 of a second, and continues to go along the S's. So we've also got Tim Delisle, who is in third. He's also another 0.5 behind, and they now go into these diagonal corners. Over here, you're also trying as much as possible to throw the weight of your car over the curbs to maintain momentum as you enter the next sectors of the racetrack.
Yeah, the train I think is going to keep growing and growing with Tim Delisle and Yuki catching up as well. Paul Wilbrink as well, Philip Preshnado as well. Someone's gone off. That is, I think, Tom Wedgwood, who is now down in 15th position. What happened there? There's quite a few battles happening in the hairpin as well, going side by side. Can they make the move stickers even for the battle for 11th place? But looks like Tom Wedgwood, unfortunately, was passed by Vasiliev for 15th position, and it's a shame because he was moved up into 12th position, now back down into 16th place. Let's have a look at the replay from Tom Wedgwood, and now you pass the Dunlop curb and now going into the Degners then. This is Degner 2, and I wonder if he's clipped the curb again. Nope, he's spun by himself, he's hit the wall, and luckily he didn't collect any cars with him, so to be fair, it's he's got a bit of damage, but not a lot. But that means he could limp it into the pits, no problem. But that's going to cost him so much time there, losing probably a bit of his front wing. But there's still plenty of action still to unfold here with Paul Ilbrink and Yuki as well. And Paul Ilbrink just missed out on positions last week, but I'm sure that he's determined to get the moves done this week sooner rather than later. Maybe he wants to try and get some done in the middle of the race. We're on lap 5 out of 21 already, and Paul's definitely on a comeback in the latter half of this season, and he's definitely more at the top half, I would say, in the last few races, which is very, very good to see. It's nice to see him fighting in the top end again.
We're now with some battles in the mid-pack. This is Kyle Young, who is in 12th position, and we've also got some cars like Denis Cornu and Jason Enriquez around there. And this is we're back on top again. This is a move that's been done by Yuki Shirakawa against Paul Ilbrink. So this way, Shirakawa regains his 4th position into Spoon Corner, which is a very nice place to kind of have an overtaking move already done. So now Shirakawa will lead Ilbrink into the run up to 130R. So let's have a look at this. Is Paul Ilbrink able to gain any ground? I think that's a bit too far, but I was going to expect, you know, a too wide entry into 130R or something. But they're now going to prepare for the entry into the Castle Triangle, which is another crucial spot if you want to do some overtaking moves. So the gap between them sits at around 0.4 of a second as they round out their final corner to begin yet another lap. This final corner, you can take multiple lines along the exit and still get a good run out of the corner. So we're now back with the race leader, Albino, who would seem to have had some good battles with Robert Talton, judging by the position of their cars. And they continue battling down into the S's.
Yeah, Robert Talton pulling away pulling away from P3, but pulling back from Christoph Herbiner in this moment in time, just so he doesn't get trapped in dirty air, which is a bit more prevalent in Japan more than anything as well. I get caught up in that, especially towards the gravel trap here, heading in towards Daytona 2. So I think he's just waiting to maybe into the heavy braking zone, into the hairpin coming up here, or maybe towards Spoon Curb or the Casio Triangle as well. He'll probably try for the move as well. But watch out for Tim too, who is a few moments behind Robert Talton as well. So if Robert Talton doesn't get a move on, we've got Tim nipping at his heels too as well in the next couple of corners. So all of them heading past Spoon now. Who would have thought that all 3 of them will be fighting for each other? And don't forget, Tim Delisle, 5-time Formula Renault 3.5 champion. It's no mean feat, and it's great to have him back this week racing against the best of the best. You know, this is a top split in iRacing in Formula Renault 3.5. They're in this split for a reason, and they want to follow in the footsteps of Tim, you know, and get a championship in the Formula Renaults as well. And you can see Ponic going side by side past their 130R, and now heading just before the Casio Triangle. He's going to go to the left. Can he execute the move perfectly? Yes, he does. Absolutely fantastic. We got the battle for the lead once again. Robert Talton versus Herbino side by side just before the S's then. Can Herbino almost get the lead? He keeps the lead from Robert Talton, but I have to say, Robert Talton did an absolutely fantastic job. We got corner that's gone off there. We'll have a look at the replay to see what happened now. I think that was an accident that happened just behind the battle that we saw earlier with the McLaren Golf livery, and the gravel trap again catching out other drivers, which is a bit of a shame, of course. But Robert Talton still 5/10 of Christoph at the moment, and this is looking very, very tasty. I like to see a leading battle like this.
So many good battles, and Albino still continues to lead the rest of the field. It is Talton still in second and Delisle still in third. So of course the average gap between them sits at approximately 0.5 of a second. Of course the gap between Albino and Talton has reduced. So let's see if, you know, because we are kind of looking at a recurring pattern of Talton trying to send along the outside of turn 1 to make an overtaking move work. So we'll see what else Talton might have up his sleeve as we approach 130R. So they're not close enough for an overtaking move to be taken, but this is now them going side by side on the run up into the Castle Triangle. Is Talton going to clean up the move for the race lead? It would appear that he does so, and he is now your new provisional race leader, but Albino might have something else up his sleeve as they go for yet another lap. So Talton defends the inside line. That might be a wise decision here at Suzuka, but the outside line is just as fast sometimes. So Albino tries to go along the outside. They are alongside each other into turn 1 and into the S's as well. So this is making good use of the placement of the car to make the overtaking move work. So Albino retakes provisionally his race lead just like that. And Tim Delisle wants some of the racing action as well.
Yeah, he's definitely caught to that train now due to those two fighting, and this could be an opportunity for him to pounce. He's got a very good backseat about all of this, and if any of the two drivers make a mistake, it will allow Tim to get the move. And I'm almost certain that Christoph could have a great opportunity to pull away, because now Robert Tarleton should know that Tim Delisle is right behind him heading towards the hairpin. And it looks like Tim Delisle is faster than Robert Tarleton at this stage, due to the fact that he's closed the gap to the pair of them at this moment in time as well. Maybe Paul Ilbrink can catch up as well, like we said earlier. And Tim Delisle, don't forget, he has won a race so far this season, and obviously he's won many races in Formula Renault 3.5 history as well, which is great to see. So we're looking actually the battle against, I think it was Paul Ilbrink, going side by side into turn number 1 then, the Radicals driver, of course. And around the outside, I have to say, is pretty good for him. And we got a battle for the lead once again. Christoph gets the lead once again into the Casio triangle, and this is allowing him to defend that quite nicely. And we'll see what Tim Delisle has at the moment. They could use the DRS when they want, of course. And Paul Ilbrink is pushing right now. 1:42.4 is the fastest lap of this race so far. He could be on course to get a podium as well. The gap now between Paul Ilbrink and Tim Delisle is 1.6 seconds, and he is 1.2 seconds quicker. So maybe in a lap's time, he could be winning this bunch.
Yeah, very much possible. So we'll continue to observe the battles up front. So Urbino and Tarleton have been having a good time with each other. Just observing the choice of line he takes as he comes upon this part of the track. This is the Dagners 1 and 2. So, these corners, very important not to throw too much of the weight of the car over the apex, or you might find yourself running a little bit too wide. Onto the hairpin. Apparently the fastest line through the hairpin is not over the curbs. Making use of the banking as you make your way around the corner. And this is pretty much a kind of a straight, it's a straight but not straight. One of those things along Suzuka. And an early break into the spoon corner. So would Paul Ilbrink have an opportunity on Tim Delisle? Let's have a look at that, because this would very much seem to be possible. So Ilbrink looks for a window to insert himself alongside Tim Delisle. Is he going to do it into 130R? Let's have a look at it as they go into that corner. Now I think Tim Delisle does have a bit of an advantage, but this is Paul Ilbrink. He did try to go for a move down the inside, but they now complete another lap around Suzuka.
That was perfect from Paul, trying to stay on that train as well. And with the slipstream and the tow that Paul Ilbrink is getting from Tim Delisle, and Delisle's getting the tow from Tarleton, and Tarleton is getting the tow from Christoph, it's kind of like a chain effect. And I think Christoph is probably the one at the disadvantage. And we got more damage, and that is Eddie Sambrowski. And look at that front wing, that is awful. So he has to dive it into the pit. So what's happened there then? So Eddie is trying to catch up the Casio triangle, and we got drivers in front going side by side, and he just caught up, and he could not avoid that at all. That was unfortunate, unlucky instant for him, and that's going to be a bit of a repairs for him. Will he be able to make it out to do some more laps? But I know he's going to be a few laps down than his rivals, which is not good at all. And he's already way behind as well, so that's going to put a downer on his hopes in order to catch up to the top 10. But we're still watching the battle in the lead get closer and closer. Paul Ilbrink dropping a little bit from the leading bunch right now, but they're still in the train, so you can still see them in the same camera shot. So we'll see if Paul's straight line speed is a lot better this lap as well. And I think Christoph must be loving trying to keep each other behind, and he's probably feeling the pressure as well. And maybe Yuki could be in all of this. I think he's around about 1 or 2 seconds behind Paul Ilbrink right now, so he's not that far behind either. So it's kind of like a domino effect right now, and it's great to see we're almost halfway into this in this motor race in the Formula Renault 3.5, and we still don't know who's going to win this race.
And it would be Tarleton who made the move along the outside, tried to look out wide to try to pull off the turn 1 move again. Apparently that did not exactly go well. Urbino still holds on barely onto his race lead. But if we do have a look at the pace differences, it would seem that Tarleton's best lap around Suzuka is 2/10 faster than that of Urbino's. So it is very much likely that Talton may eventually be able to think of a move ahead of Elvino once again and possibly make that move stick, because as you know, here at Suzuka it's very easy to to overtake, and it's also easy to lose your positions to cars behind you, so you have to be very careful with the choice of lines that you do choose around this track. So over the hairpin once again, the cars do look like they almost got parked there, but that's just because the hairpin is a slow corner and they continue going down into the spoon corner. So it would also appear that Paul Ilbrich does have the fastest pace, judging by his best lap time of 1:42.5, which is kind of the fastest of all of the drivers here in the field actually. So we might see Ilbrich go up the podium perhaps later on in the race.
Oh, don't jinx him, Chan. The last time I jinxed him, something bad happened, I have to say. So that's why I didn't say anything more about it. But I said nice things last week, and he ended up doing well. So, but again, I didn't talk about him too much compared to some other drivers. So that's probably what did help right now. But he's looking good, as well. And he's just staying pretty. He's being patient. He's not being too greedy yet, but maybe just waiting towards the end of the race where he could possibly go for the moves. We're halfway into this race and then lap 12 out of 21, and still a long way to go for these drivers. Don't forget the last few weeks and last few races, we've seen the leader just pulled away from everybody from about 3 seconds. Basically, the top 5 is covered by 3 seconds today, which shows how even the top 5 paces today as well. The whole of the top 6, I would say, are in the between the 142.8s and the 143.2s, their best lap, which I have to say is pretty incredible. And I'd just like to say keep up the good work from all these 5 drivers as they make their way towards the hairpin. Once again, it's Robert Talton, 8 tenths, now 6 tenths is the gap now. So can he find a way to increase the gap a little bit? Because there were certain laps where Robert Talton was gaining quite a lot, but Christoph was able to gain a little bit in sector 4, which was 16.8 compared to the gain from Robert Talton in the 3rd and the 1st sector. So it looks like the 2nd sector and the 4th sector was where Herbino actually benefited right now as well. So we're heading past 130R into the Casio Triangle. Look at this, Robert Talton's going to get a brilliant run past there as well. Rebby on the brakes then as well. Tim Talal could get racy as well, and maybe Paul Ilbrich if he's lucky as well. But we're looking to see the pitch straight then. Can Robert Talton go for the lunge? He's looking forward to turn 1. Tim Talal actually taking a similar run as well, but he doesn't go for the move. Christoph manages to hold everyone else up to make sure he keeps the lead of this race. Doing absolutely fantastic. But all of this fighting is allowing the gap just to be even closer and closer and closer. And maybe I think Yuki could be in this as well. I believe it's 2.8 seconds is the gap between 5th place and 4th place. So Yuki, if he continues those lap times for Yuki at the moment and matches up the pace for everybody else, then he should be absolutely fine. But for now, it's down to the top 4, and I'm absolutely loving it. Let's know your thoughts in either the YouTube chat or in the Twitch chat. Don't forget to subscribe and turn notifications on YouTube so you know when to check out our streams, and also click that like button as well. Also make sure you follow us on Twitch, twitch.tv/Apex Racing TV. You'll be able to see it in a much lower latency than YouTube. And also we got Instagram, Facebook and Twitter. All of this you can find on Apex Racing TV.
On board, Robert Talton once again, and the gap has in fact extended to beyond 0.4 of a second. So I think a bit of work that Talton has to do at the same time is fending off pressure from Tim Delisle, who's back in P3. So let's see if he's going to think of anything once again as he makes his way onto the main straight again. So over the final corner, I think trying to get a good exit around this around the exit, and obviously when the car in front goes for the inside line, you follow as well to get the most out of the slipstream. But they progressively inch outwards again, so it is a conventional line into turn 1. So of course it would be status quo for the time being for these drivers. Let's have a look at the replay of the racing from the perspective of Philip Presneda. and this is Prestator who's made his way around. Oh, that would be...
Oh.
Yeah, he did unsettle his car into the diagonal corners there, and you know, I think it's probably the curbs. The exit curbs around the middle of the corner are quite bumpy, so I think he probably ate a bit too much of that.
That is an awful place to lose it as well. That can hurt people's races more than not, really. So that's not good as well. It hurts in any game, not just iRacing as well. And especially around with these cars with such a powerful engine, then it will probably hurt in real life as well. Imagine the G-force that the drivers will be facing if an accident like that was to happen in real life. So thank goodness we are in a sim then as well. So we're watching Robert Tarleton and looking at the speed as we're heading towards past spin into 130R, then heading at almost 250 miles per hour, going into staying in sixth gear for now. Maybe gonna go staying in sixth gear for this moment in time, and maybe in 130R before the Casio. Looked like Robert Tarleton is gonna go for it. He's gaining. Is it going to work out for him? Yes, he does. Robert Tarleton takes the lead of round 6 of Formula Renault 3.5. But look, Christoph make out the upper hand here as he goes through the start-finish straight. He has the toe on Robert Tarleton. Tim Delisle takes a similar line too. It could be free wide. Please don't make this free wide, lads. Otherwise, you're going to be in a lot of trouble. Christoph takes the left-hand side as well. Still going side by side. Could Christoph get the outside line? No, he does not. Robert Tarleton still holds on to the lead, but Tim Delisle is absolutely hungry to get P2. He's looking even faster than anybody else right now. This is getting very, very exciting.
Oh, it certainly is. So it could very much be anyone's race at this point. Don't forget Paul Ilbrick is also behind this, adding fuel to the fire. As we have a look at the replay, this is Yuki Shirakawa again. He's in 7th, and here he is breaking into Casio Triangle, and it would appear that he's spun out a little bit, you know, along the exit of the Casio Triangle, and that kind of resulted in him losing 2 positions as he now sits in 7th. Back to the battle up top. This is Tarleton, you know, a different race leader at this point in the race, which is always a good thing to see. And Tarleton continues going into the spoon curve, but the difference now is that Albino is very close to Tarleton, and we might see some overtaking moves take place once again over the next couple of moments. So some slipstream action as Tarleton leads the top 4 into 130R and into the braking zone, in fact, of Casio Triangle. So yeah, what a beautiful circuit this is.
I love this circuit. Who doesn't like this circuit? Even though there's not many overtaking spots, a lot of drivers just put a little bit more risk and they just go for it anyway, which is really, really great to see. And we've got battles everywhere. We've got a 4-way battle for the lead, and then we've got a battle for P5 as well with Fabio and Oliver as well, which this is what I like to see as well. And it looks like Oliver could go for ascend the dreams into turn number 1. No, Fabio closed the door there, which I have to say is a very brave thing to do as they head past into the SS section. And this battle is going to carry on for many laps, I'm sure, and I wonder who's going to come out on top with this one as well. But the most important thing is to watch out for the battle for the lead, in particular the final podium position between Paul Ilbrick and Tim Delisle. That's probably the closest battle on track potentially as well, and I think a lot more risk will happen towards the end, like we saw last week with a photo finish with Benjamin Barato being one of them as well. So we could see something similar today potentially as well, with probably 4 cars potentially being in a photo finish. We would like to see that as well, and they're showing a lot of respect. We've been speaking towards the beginning of the season that these drivers know each other, most of them, and they know the racecraft, they know where they're going to go as well. So it's about being smart and probably catching people out, and that's when moves are going to be made and the overtakes are going to be nice and sweet. So Christoph then, this could be his second chance into the Casio Triangle then. He closed a little bit on Robert Tarleton, so he's going to get a good run onto the start-finish straight and get the toe that he definitely needs for the final 10 minutes of this race, which should be some interesting ones. So make sure you stay tuned to Apex Racing TV. Christoph has set the fastest lap almost into the 141s, and I have to say that is crazy right now. And Christoph could be the favourite and potentially get the move. He edges out even closer to Robert Tarleton. Robert Tarleton's last lap was a 42.26, and that was his best lap as well. So 1 attempt shy between the pair of them. They're pretty much even on pace at this point.
Yep, certainly. So, continuing to lead thus Robert Tarleton as he continues to throw his car over these few corners. And I think, by the looks of things, I think the pace differences has kind of shifted a little bit. It is now Christophe Urbino who has set, in fact, the fastest lap time in the race, 1:42.13. And the cars of Tim Delisle and Paul Ulbrich are exactly as fast as each other when we look at their best laps. So we continue to observe. There was a bit of a wide approach into the spoon corner, and of course that's always a good thing, making full use of the tarmac, but you don't want to go too wide into that corner or you might lose the rear end of your car. So Tarleton into 130 out once again. And a good run along that corner, but he's managed to kind of extend his lead by a fair bit into the ballpark of 0.7 of a second. So it is a good thing perhaps for Tarleton, as he's got a bit more advantage ahead of the rest of the field at this point.
Yeah, it looks like it as well, and it looks like Fabio's having a good advantage compared to the likes of Oliver in 6th position as well for 5th place on this grid as well. And even though they're not in the fight for the win, at least they could get some solid points if they fight with this as well. And there are 2 trains going on right now, maybe even 3 as well, with the likes of Honick, Reed, Young and Vasilev all in that train as well. So potentially 3 trains to watch out for too as well. So we're looking at Tim Delisle then, looking absolutely beautiful, trying to defend off Paul Ulbrich as well. I think Delisle was caught napping there as well. Paul wants that podium and he wants it now. So any thoughts in the chat on whether Paul is gonna do it? Of course, Tim was ever so close to Christophe. All of this is allowing just Robert Tarleton just to pull away. The gap has increased a lot since it's been all race, and Robert Tarleton is thinking, you guys keep fighting for 2nd place, I could just run away with it like I did last week. So it took a while for the race lead to be as dominant as he is, but he is controlling the race so far. But the battle for 2nd place is still within reach. Look at this, Herbinel and Delisle on track for 2nd place, and maybe Paul if he's lucky as well. Not long to go until the end of this race with a few laps remaining. Looks like it could be Tim Delisle for the taking, but no, Christophe was having none of that and has to settle for P3 Tim Delisle at this moment in time. And Tarleton 141.8. He just gets better and better, whereas there's a few people in the 143s, and the fuel tanks are getting lighter and lighter as well, so everyone will be faster then. And looks like, oh no, Tim Delisle just spun a little bit, tried to go around the inside, did not work at all, and that's promoted Paul Ulbrich to the podium. Let's have a look at the replay of what happened to Tim Delisle. We actually caught it, but we'll have a little bit of a more accurate viewpoint of Tim Delisle. So he hit Paul Ulbrich there, and it was very unlucky that Paul did not get any damage and he did not get collected himself. We'll go on the onboard shot as well, going side by side as well. Paul's actually going around the outside actually and just touched a little bit there. So yeah, a bit of a shame there, but there's nothing more that Tim could do, and now I believe Tim is in 4th position. So yeah, what a shame that. Delisle is out actually. He's got damage to his car, and he keeps spinning. He kept spinning the car as well as on the replays. What a shame. Another car that was on course to maybe even winning this race is now out of the picture. So less cars for Robert and Christophe to worry about, and I'm almost certain Paul Ulbrich will be out for P2. So to be honest, I think that the top 3 is pretty much settled at this moment in time. What a shame for Tim Delisle though.
Yeah, that was certainly an unfortunate incident for Delisle. He walked away with the shorter end of the stick, and in fact with damage as well, as you mentioned. And though this does kind of reduce the battle for the lead to a 3-horse race, and the drivers are now spaced much further apart than a couple of moments ago when they were all kind of battling together in one pack. So Tarleton might just be a little more comfortable with his position at this point. He's currently first with 3 seconds of an advantage. But this is Fabio Ducarmo, who's made an overtaking move on Oliver Quokka up for fourth position. And they're now, and this is Ducarmo, who will continue to hold on to fourth position, and the gap between them sits at just over 4/10 of a second. So you do have a look at the replay once again of how this whole the things happened earlier on. So from the helicopter view of this incident, Paul Ilbrink tried to hold on to the inside line, but unfortunately both himself and Delal came into contact. So the contact was around the side pod of Tim Delal's car, but I think the right side suspension of Delal's Formula Renault 3.5 car did suffer some damage as a result, and he wasn't able to continue with the race. Ducarmo continues in fourth position, leading Quokka by 0.5 of a second, and this will continue to ensue.
Yeah, the battle continues to unfold, and I think we're going to watch the battle for fourth place even closely now with Fabio and Oliver. So please keep an eye out on the stream, because as soon as Robert Tarleton crosses the line, it will be the final lap and it will be the right flag as well. So I think if people want to go for the moves, they're going to go for it now. And this is what Oliver Quokka is going to try and do. Those side by side they go, heading towards the Casio triangle. Very, very tricky corner as well. There was almost a bit of a slide there from Oliver, but he just about kept the car together as he head towards the start-finish straight. Looks like he's very, very pounds for a move now. Look at the car fully planted there as well as they head towards turn one. And Fabio is not going to give up without a fight either. He's going to defend and defend for his life. Still going side by side once again at the start of the S's section. Any wrong move in the S's section and you are out. That is a few people that got caught out because of that. And but these two, they seem to be doing all right. Now heading towards past the S's and in towards the Dunlop curve. They're heading towards the Daytoners. They're keeping it together right now, and we could see another close finish between two different cars, which is absolutely brilliant. And I wonder if Fabio or Oliver is going to come out on top. But we've got Christoph as well, who has got Paul in his sights again. We thought Paul would be out of this second place fight, but he seems to have found a little bit more pace in him in the first sector. 2 tenths, then about 9 100ths, 1 tenth, and then in the fourth sector, 2 tenths. So Paul Ilbrink is going even quicker and quicker. And Robert Tarleton at the front, he's just minding his own business up there in the lead. So let's go on board with him. Driven absolutely phenomenally once again. He won in Monza, and he's going to have looked to take 2 wins on the trot. Robert Tarleton, the American, wins in Suzuka today. He wins in Japan. Absolutely fantastic. He continues his campaign where he left off. And look at this. We got Fabio and Oliver going side by side once again. Looks like Fabio's going to retain that position, but is he going to be side by side again? No, I think Oliver has been forced to concede. Fabio takes 4th, Oliver takes 5th, Yuki takes 6th, but there's still a battle for 10th position between Young and Vasilev. Who's going to take this one? Looks like Young's going to get that. So we got Carlos in 7th, Reed in 8th, Ponig in 9th, Young in 10th, Vasilev in 11th, and looks like Dennis Cornu is going to get 12th position by looks of things. But we're seeing the replay of what happened to Paul Ilbrink and Christoph as they went for the move there. Oh, this is very, very close again. A similar move to what we saw. Oh no, Paul lost a bit of ground to Christoph there, and it could have been a much closer finish, but still, he's got the podium. I'm sure he'll be very, very happy for that, but he's probably in a bittersweet mood right now. But the race has finished. Robert Tarleton wins once again, just like last week.
So we've got some of the front contenders from previous races, Edward Samborski and James Pinsker, who are, I think, in shot at the moment. So Samborski was, in fact, the front runners of the opening of the season. I think he unfortunately faced some incidents earlier on in this race, and this is Samborski who will come around the start-finish line and finish this race in 16th position. But of course, well done to all the drivers who made it so far throughout this race, because Suzuka certainly isn't an easy track to conquer.
No, but it's not. And I do believe, even though Eddie's not going to score some points, he's got the fastest lap as well. So that's glory points for Eddie there. I'm sure he'll be happy about that. So looking at your race results then, Robert Talton wins from Christoph, from Paul, from Fabio, from Oliver as well, and Yuki in 6th, Carlos in 7th, Phil Reed in 8th, Mark Ponick in 9th, Cal Young in 10th, Pavel Vasilev in 11th, Dennis Cornu in 12th, Greg Olsen in 13th, Dennis Verchheim in 14th, Philip Sheath in 15th place, and Edward Zambrowski in 6th position, the final person on the lead lap. And then we have Jorge Montanez in 17th, James Pinsker in 18th, they were both a lap down, Tim DeLisle in 19th, he was 2 laps down and forced to retire towards the end there. And then we got the drivers that failed to see the checkered flag. That is Shane Russell, Philip Freshneder, Benjamin Barato, Jason Enrique, Tom Wedgwood, and James Clay.
So I think we might have the opportunity to do some post-race interviews with various drivers. So who should we go for first? I think we might have Jessica. We might have the race winner in the waiting area as well.
Yeah, we do. We may as well interview him first this week. Let's not keep him hanging like last week, and we may as well drag him in. I'll drag him in actually into the commentary booth. And congratulations, Robert, on the win once again. It wasn't easy though, unlike last week, but after with 10 minutes to go, it looks like you were able to keep the lead for the rest of it and take a dominant victory. How was the race from your perspective?
Yeah, it was really great to finally get a win where I didn't have contact with another driver. At the beginning, I thought it was going to be pretty smooth sailing because I got pole, and usually I can get a pretty good start. And I figured with Suzuka and the dirty air, I'd be able to keep a pretty decent buffer. But got a little bit of wheel spin on the start. Christoph was really good into turn 1 and 2, as you guys probably saw, and he got by me. At that point, I was just pretty much hanging behind him, trying to find a way past him. He was really challenging, so I had to try a number of different things. But overall, it was a ton of fun. I mean, Christoph, definitely hats off to him for really tough but fair driving. He definitely knew when to, leave the cars with, but he also knew when to close the door, which just made it a lot of fun and a real challenge to get past.
It looks like you both had a lot of fun as well. It seemed to go on for a very long time. And when you saw the likes of Paul Ilbrink and Tim DeLisle catching up behind you as well, did that make you a bit nervous?
It was definitely something I kept in the back of my mind. I did notice through the battling, we were able to control that gap. So if it ever got too close, then I would just make sure to not make a move on Christoph during that lap. But it was definitely something in the back of my mind. And one of those things where I only had so many attempts on Christoph before that became a real threat.
And I think as we head to the next track next week, are you going to make it 3 for 3? Are you going to make it 3 wins on the trot? Because you seem to be very, very confident with the car right now.
Yeah, I was really happy with the setup this week, and I was able to find a rhythm with Suzuka. Unfortunately, I won't be able to make it a 3 for 3 because I'm going to be out of town next week. But but definitely looking forward for the week after.
Yeah, and I'm sure you're going to probably do well as well. And any drivers that you're probably going to hopefully challenge, do you think you can possibly beat Christoph again in the track in 2 weeks' time?
Yeah, I mean, with this series, there's just so many good drivers, and on any given week, there's probably, half the field that could win the race. So if it's not Christoph, it's going to be somebody else. That's definitely for sure.
Yeah, we've seen a variety of different race winners, so I'm not really that surprised. So congratulations for the race victory, and have a good time next week. And I'm trying to see where you would be in 2 weeks' time, and I'll see you in 2 weeks' time for Zandvoort. So well done on your race victory tonight.
Great. Thank you.
Right, so that was our race winner, Robert Talton. Let's see if we got anyone else in the podium that wants to have a talk to us. I do believe we have Paul Ilbrink in the rating room for us, who I believe finished in 3rd position. And I'll hand over to Chan, who is going to interview Paul Ilbrink, who finished in 3rd.
So hi Paul, congratulations on coming home 3rd. I think throughout the race there were so many exciting battles, especially involving yourself with various other drivers. I think unfortunately there was one altercation with Greg also, which unfortunately led to a certain to various outcomes. But could you please share with us, talk through some of the more the crucial moments of the race that led you to climb up to this position? Obviously, understanding you started from 7th position and battle your all the way up to 3rd.
Yeah, I had an okay-ish start, I guess. Was on the good side on the track for turn 1 when there were a couple guys going off, so was like 5th after the first lap. Then got like torpedoed from behind by Greg, so then I spent the whole race chasing Tim to return the favor by hitting their team car back again. But yeah, I don't know, had a pretty good race, caught up with Tim. I didn't have contemplated before the race a little bit if I actually should go for more top speed or not, but I chose not to. But in the end, it might have been more helpful to stay in the draft and be able to overtake on top speed on the straights. But towards the end, then at that moment, I saw Tim and Christoph going too wide into the first corner, so I thought, well, if I'm lucky, they hit each other and go both off, but they just went too wide. There was a little gap, I went for it. Then I missed the apex at turn 2 a bit and had a slight contact with Tim. But iRacing netcode decided that it completely destroyed his car. At that point, I also was lifting at the exit a little bit to let him pass me again, but since his car was destroyed, that didn't quite work anymore. And then in the final lap, I did catch up with Christoph again, but that was just going blindly into final chicane very deep. Missed the braking point a little bit, and yeah, he made it fine, so just P3, which I'm happy with, I guess.
Yeah, it would seem that the cards have been stacked in your favor for this week's race. That's really great to see. Next week though, we are still going to remain in Japan, but we are going to Motegi circuit, which I think in many ways is quite different, very much different from racing here at Suzuka. So what are your thoughts entering next week?
I always liked driving there a lot in the past. I don't think we ever raced it with the 3.5, as far as I remember, so it's probably a little bit too narrow for the car, but I like just driving it, so maybe I'll actually do some practice next week.
Sure, that's great. So before we do let you go, anyone you'd like to give a shout out to?
Sure, you guys are doing a nice job on the broadcast, and my teammates at the Radicals Online, and our partners and sponsors, Armor Centrum, Cranfield Simulation, Track Racer, Joe Real Timing, Turn Racing, M-Wative, Podcast 6, Sideways, and Pixel Dust.
Thank you so much, Paul. So Jessica, I think we might have the time for an additional race interview. Who shall we go for next?
I think we should go for someone that just about missed out on the podium and got very unlucky towards the end. Shall we get Tim in, because he didn't race last week and he raced this week as well? So we'll drag him in and get him an interview. So Tim Delisle, so unlucky there on the final few laps. Talk to us what was going through your mind. You were on for a podium. What happened?
iRacing happened. Seriously, I'm so over it. Yeah, just the whole race. I was watching Robert and Christoph. They were having an amazing battle for the leaders. I'm sure you would have seen. I was waiting for them to crash because they were just racing so hard and so often that I figured at least one time I wasn't going to pay off for one of them. And so I was sitting back saving my DRS, just hoping to Stephen Bradbury my way into a win, and yeah, they were battling a bit, and it let Paul get back into it, and he was super quick, hustling us, and Yeah, if anything, I think Paul might have had the best race pace throughout. It's hard to say with the dirty air and the slipstream and all that, but yeah. So then I was in like this massive sandwich, and then we let Robert get away, and so it was like a battle for P2, and yeah, Christoph. I forget what happened into the chicane. I think he was just defending the inside and might have locked up a bit, so I tried to maximize my exit and go for the move into turn 1. And Paul, saw a gap on the inside, which he's entitled to. Like, I would have done the same thing. It's a smart move. And yeah, just like the most minor of contact you can have. And yeah, my car was completely broken. My initial reaction was, okay, Paul might let me back through here, because as much as it was a racing incident, there was a bit of understeer to cause the contact. And yeah, we'll keep racing, try to get Christoph. And then yeah, my car was just bunny hopping and pointing like 45 degrees to the right, and I thought I'd try to get it back around, but it was completely undrivable. And then Yuki was coming up behind me, so to avoid potentially taking him out, I just yeeted it into a wall, and that's how I feel about iRacing right now.
Yeah, that's unfortunate to have happened as well. I'm sure everyone in the chat on Twitch and YouTube and Facebook, and myself included, and Jan, were very heartbroken about what happened as well. And I'm sure you'll come back fighting next week. Now, Twin Motegi, if you're going to be here next week, we're still in Japan, of course. Is that a much better circuit for you? Is it going to be redemption for you? Are you going to try and get that podium, or maybe even a win?
Unfortunately, it's going to be none of the above, because I don't actually own the track. And yeah, just I don't get as much time to practice these days as I'd like. So to learn a new track and get comfortable, I just don't think I'd have it in me. So yeah, I'm going to sit back and watch from the couch, or probably bed actually, considering these races are fairly early on a Sunday morning for us in Australia. But yeah, just I'll take a break and try to mentally reset from the disappointment of today.
That's usually the best way to go things, I reckon. But anyway, just before we wrap up the stream, anyone you want to give a shout out to on the stream?
Yeah, Positive Sim Racing. It was tough race this week for Greg and I. We both had contact and damage to various degrees. Greg was able to recover a little bit. Yeah, sort of a week we'd like to forget, but congrats to the podium. Robert, Christoph and Paul, the racing was supreme, like top level. Yeah, look, I've said my piece about the Dallara IR01, but I think a world championship in this series would be a lot better and produce much better and cleaner racing. But yeah, just congrats to those guys, and thanks guys for the broadcast. I hope it was entertaining.
It was definitely entertaining watching you guys battle for the win. It was absolutely brilliant. Keep up the good work, and we'll see you next time when you're available for the next track. So commiserations on your final few laps there, but hopefully we will see you very soon, and maybe hopefully for getting the podium or the win next time. Thank you very much, Tim.
Thanks.
Okay then, so I think we're just about to wrap up the stream, and I think we just seen battles galore tonight. Chan, it was absolutely fantastic.
Yeah, it's kind of like a free-for-all for everyone here at Suzuka. I think it goes very well with the fact that Suzuka does promote a lot of overtaking, and as a result of that, you have to also be mindful of the way you strategize, how you place your car. So I think it's also worth mentioning that the community, the Formula 3.5 community, is also open for racetrack selections, for track votes for the next season. I think it is probably taking place on the iRacing forums. So if you are active on this on this series, please do make your votes for the racetracks next week.
Yes, indeed, because it can definitely make a difference as to what track we race this season, and there will be a link in the chat at some point for you to go and vote for your favourite tracks as well. And who knows, we could see you racing next season, or maybe next week if you wanted to. So make sure you go in and vote. So we are going to end the stream there. So thank you guys so much for watching Thank you to our sponsors as well, Apex Racing Academy, for providing car setups and data packs automatically, and also coaching sessions. Also, VRS as well, who also provide data packs to any cars you can imagine, which is for any tracks as well. And also SDK Gaming, that also provide live timing for our broadcast and provide an overlay for our broadcast as well. And you can also do it for your leagues as well. You can have a 14-day free trial, and then after that you can pay monthly for a fee there. I highly recommend it because it's a good software. So we're going to end the stream there. Next week, like we said, we stay in Japan to go to Twin Motegi. I think it should be a fun race there as well. So with myself, Jessica Ball and Chan in the commentary box, and the lovely and beautiful Marco on the cameras, we will see you next week. I'll let you enjoy the rest of your morning, afternoon or evening. Have a good day, everybody. Goodbye.